Daniel's done, and we'll see what Sara McMann can do.
But obviously, when they've won an Olympic medal, I know that you don't watch the Olympics, or you wouldn't have seen the ice skaters this morning.
Right.
The whole of the country's watching them, so they've already got that platform out when they come in that people know who they are.
I agree. I mean, if you look at boxing, these guys that used to come out of the Olympics were the most sought-after guys.
It was the proving ground, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it. Caught me off guard. Yeah.
Have you ever seen Cormier so weird?
Yeah. Honestly, honestly, I think he's really upset that he said the things that he said. Yeah. He said he made him cry, and you know what I mean? I don't care who you are. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. He didn't. Cormier didn't ask for this fight. Cormier wanted a fight. He didn't ask for this fight, and when I told him, I called Cormier and I told him I got some good news and some bad news for you. Good news is I got you a fight. You know this kid Cummins? And he goes, yeah. He said he's going to take the fight, and I said, yeah. He said the bad news is he said he made you cry in training. He said that. And I said, yeah, and he went off about that. I think he's embarrassed, and I think he's upset. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. I mean, is it contrived? I don't know. That's only he knows that.
Did you follow along with some of the stuff that he said?
Apparently, in the wrestling world, what he did, he broke like the man code. He broke the law of wrestling. And all the guys who are wrestlers have said that to me. Like, you don't do it.
There was obviously that issue that Daniel spoke about with his daughter that passed away the year before.
That he what?
That Daniel's daughter had passed away the year before, and that was a lot of the emotion behind him crying and things like that as well.
Right.
I mean,
well, I think, and that's what I think it is. I think he's embarrassed by what he said, and I think he's upset that he did that. And like I said, nobody wants somebody walking around saying they made him cry.
Like that's no tell. You don't tell.
Plus, he had guys rotating in on him. His daughter had passed away. He was going through a lot of stuff mentally and emotionally. But yeah, I think he's pissed. I didn't see that coming, or I would never let him get that close to each other.
You look like you saw it coming here. Look at your reaction there.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
A little late to it. Is there anything you can do if two guys want to shove each other out of the way?
No. Yeah, if I see it coming, I can. A lot of times, like when there's something heated, it usually starts in the back before they come out for the weigh. Yeah, before they come out for the weigh-ins. That won't happen tomorrow. I can promise you that. But normally it starts in the back, and we hear about it, and they warn me before they come out to square off for the weigh-ins. Or if even one thing has been said back and forth between them in interviews or on Twitter or things like that, I'm usually ready. I wasn't ready for that one.
Does that one bother you, or do you think it was just...
I don't like it. I don't like when they touch each other before the fight. Anything could happen. That kid could have fucking... Look at this stage. That kid could have fucking fell right there. And
have you ever lost a fight because somebody got hurt in an incident like that?
No. The closest, the one that scared me the most was Diego Sanchez and Josh Koscheck. I don't know if you remember that, but he hit him so hard that he almost fell off the scale, over the scale, and I do the best I can to make sure that doesn't happen. Sneakiest one ever was Anderson Silva. I didn't even know that was possible to hit somebody like that. Remember when he hit Chael Sonnen? Yeah, it freaks me out. I don't like it, and I try to stop it.
Regardless of what happens on Saturday, is Cummins put himself in a position to stick around with you guys?
Cummins put himself in, he took an opportunity. An opportunity was created. However, this whole thing organically happened. I'd never heard of Patrick Cummins until the morning I was driving to work, when I made that fight. I'd never even heard of the guy. I read up on him. I had some people pull some stuff. I talked to our guys, and I said, this kid wants this fight, and he's got a story, and we'll give him an opportunity. And Daniel wanted the fight. He wanted to fight, so.
From a promotion standpoint, it seems like you really took to it very quickly.
Yeah.
Very natural.
Listen, you guys know, it's like when Kev just said to me, Kev said, well, that was contrived. Did he do this? Did he do that? I don't tell anybody to do anything. We told Cummins' story. These two have their thing. They're going to show up. They're going to fight. We don't tell anybody to do this, to do that. You kidding me? With the stuff we got going on, you don't think a fighter will come out and say, Dana used to tell us to say this, and Dana used to tell us to say that, and I don't tell anybody to do anything. A fight is what it is. It plays out however it plays out. Look at the Rousey Tate, leading up to Rousey Tate. I mean, they hated each other. You know what I mean? These two completely respect each other, and it is what it is. No two fighters the same.
Ronda playing it smart with Sara McMann and kind of not giving her anything to hang on to in terms of defending.
She didn't. Don't you remember her and Liz Carmouche?
Yeah, she's pretty smart.
She loved Liz Carmouche, and she spoke very highly of her and was honored to fight her. And Ronda's she's not some lunatic. She didn't like and doesn't like Miesha Tate. They're never going to like each other, and that's the way they're always going to be toward each other.
Does she never cease to amaze you?
No, she doesn't. She's I was reading this thing today where she was saying she's nervous about pay-per-view buys. Fucking kidding me? It's unbelievable. Yeah. What other fighter gives a shit how many pay-per-view buys we do on Saturday? Give a shit what we do. I know what I'm getting paid, She's worried about the pay-per-view buys. I said, let me worry about the pay-per-view buys. Relax, lady. Yeah. And I like that. Good. I'm glad that she feels like, she has to work harder and do more, that's one of the many things that I love about Ronda. Ronda is, I'm telling you, the hardest worker I've ever seen, especially in this sport. The hardest worker I've ever seen, and she does everything the right way, man. She keeps us in the loop on everything she's doing. You hear what she just said at the press conference? She's like, she said, I haven't focused. I did a 45-minute conference call about a movie. That's it for this camp, and that's all I've been doing is working on this fight. And then once she leaves, she'll dive into that and focus on that. She's a pretty unique individual.
What have you seen change, if anything, around her with her business team and the way that she's handled this last year?
Let me tell you what, there's a lot of people that if they were in her position this last year would have crashed and burned, She has handled it like a pro. She's conducted herself like a professional, like a champion. I mean, I seriously, I can't say enough good things about her.
So you have no concern, Dana, about her doing the movies? You feel that she can juggle both of these?
It's not, but what's she juggling? She's going 2 fights back to back, and then she's obviously going to have some time off anyway. What do you do when you get time off? Some people gain a bunch of weight, and then they wait for the next fight, and then they have to go into camp again. She's going to stay busy. She's going to stay in great shape because she can't put on a bunch of weight for a movie. You know what I mean? So she's going to do her thing, and everybody keeps talking about, well, what happens if she leaves and goes to Hollywood? What happens if she leaves and goes to Hollywood? How's that bad for us? How's it bad for the sport? Is The Rock being a huge superstar bad for the WWE? No. But we always say that. We always say that when I've been answering these questions. What are you guys going to do when Chuck Liddell retires? You guys are in big trouble when that guy goes away. And the list goes on and on. This is a sport with a limited window of opportunity. We all know this. It's like now with these guys that are retiring and stuff, these guys are retiring and it's like, what am I going to do? What's the next chapter of my life? Where do I go? Did anybody sign with the UFC to think that this was going to be a lifetime job, that they'd be here till they retired when they were 72 years old? No, it's this big. You get in, you make a huge impact, you accomplish as many good things as you can accomplish, and then you move on to the next stage of your life.
How many times would you like her to fight this year?
How many what?
How many times would you like her to fight?
She'll fight 3 times this year. Yeah. Yep.
Follow up to the point you just made about Ronda. I mean, you were public about the fact that she's personality changed your perception of women's MMA. But you also said at the time that you were worried about the depth of the gender in the sport.
Yep.
Your thoughts on how that's evolved? Because obviously you're feeling pretty confident now about the depth of the women's division in the UFC.
Thanks to pioneers like her and Gina Carano and many other women ahead of them that didn't get to come and do the stuff that these girls are doing, it's come a long way fast. And there's nothing but depth, and it's only going to get bigger now because there's money involved here. Like we were saying in the beginning, other Olympians and other women that love to compete, and little girls right now are in MMA gyms all over the world training in MMA. It's just going to get bigger and bigger. At one point, I wasn't sure. It wasn't that I wasn't sure. I was worried about the level of competition. But everybody here and everybody who's ever watched, I mean, that Rousey Tate fight was awesome. That was an exciting fight that night. The place was going crazy, and I think this one will be too. I'm very interested to see how this goes. You think about Ronda's won every single fight by armbar, right? Well, when Ronda goes down to the ground, we'll end there. They're going to end up on the ground one way or the other. The question becomes, what happens if Ronda puts her on her back? Wrestlers don't do too well on the backs. We'll see how Sara does. And Ronda's going to, for the first time, be fighting someone who, when Ronda's on her back trying to pull off arm bars, is going to be dropping elbows and punches. When we were sitting up here at the press conference, I was looking at her. You see the size of her arms? Yeah. Oh my God, her arms are huge, man. Her forearms are huge. Her hands are big. Mm-hmm. You know, she's a big, strong girl. Rogan said that when he was interviewing her, he put his arm around her, said it's seriously like grabbing a piece of brick. Like, she is a powerful, woman. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out.
An aura of deep self-belief, isn't she?
Yeah, and she's just a real quiet storm. Just she's not big on talking publicly in the media and stuff. She's very quiet. Stylistically, it's a very interesting fight.
Do you find it interesting that between grappling, like before there was like a Hoist Gracie and then the evolution came with the wrestler like Matt Hughes, do you see that happening with the women's division?
What?
Just the evolution and how like the different styles are.
It's there. It's there now. I mean, Ronda Rousey is becoming more and more well-rounded. Miesha Tate's a good, well-rounded fighter. We're going to see how well-rounded McMann is on Saturday. What were you going to say, Ken?
Having a high level of athleticism is more important than actually fighting.
Yeah, athleticism is very important. I mean, if you look at a guy like John Jones, he's a great athlete. You know what I mean? But being well-rounded is very important in this sport. Ronda's stand-up. If you look at Ronda's stand-up last time, stand-up looked. I mean, she hurt Tate a couple times. You look at the first Ronda Rousey Tate fight and the second one; they're night and day. So it's going to be interesting to see. I told you guys, she sends me everything that she does. She sends me all the film on her sparring. You should see her sparring sessions. All straight stand-up. No takedowns or throws. I don't, but I'm sure you could ask her. The girl that she sparred with, she was knocking out sparring partners in camp. And they had to bring in a girl from Mexico. She was ranked number 3 in the world, and her and Ronda are just going at it. Yeah, Lucia Riker was bringing girls in for her last camp.
Yeah, did Lucia make any comments?
Yeah, she did. Well, it was on the show. It was on primetime. Yeah.
Has Ronda gotten to the point like GSP Anderson Silva and Sara McMann have to beat her? Would there be likely a rematch or?
Again, I don't ever think about. We got to see how the fight goes. I don't ever think about that stuff till we see the fight.
You were going to ask about the Black History Month that the organization got involved with. Now you're going to making stops in certain cities. Whose idea was that to implement that?
It was actually Karen Bryant's idea. Karen Bryant came to us, about doing. So we were already doing some stuff for Black History Month, but then Karen had a lot of good ideas, and we liked them. So we put that whole plan together. And
Do you have any plans to go any further with that? I mean, I think it's maybe 3 or 4 cities.
Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think that's all we're doing.
Okay, will you do it again next year?
Yeah, if it goes well, we probably will.
Speaking about depth in the women's division, update on Kat Zingano, what's going on with her?
I don't. Kat Zingano and I have played phone tag, and I owe her a phone call.
She's still in line at this point?
Yeah. I mean, when she comes back, when she's healthy, she's going through a lot right now. She's in like a Dominic Cruz situation. I feel really bad for her, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, probably. The kitchen sink has been thrown at that poor girl. Losing the opportunity of the Ultimate Fighter, losing the opportunity to fight for the title, being injured and going through all that emotional crap, and then having, her husband, it's just, I can't even imagine that poor girl.
David, what's the latest on the Gilbert Melendez situation? Do you guys still have the
Yeah, listen, I told you guys I like Gilbert, and we'll see what happens.
Like, it's still, you guys still have that?
Yeah, we have the right.
Back to Ronda, I'm just throwing this massively forward now. People talked about if you became too tired or you became too old or too grey to be able to do what you do at the moment.
Right.
And people said, oh, Chael Sonnen might be able to step in sometimes and be the lead promoter.
Right.
Have you ever thought already in your mind, in the back of your mind, that Ronda's probably quite good at what I do as well?
I think there'd be a lot of people that are good at what I do.
You seem to understand how it works.
Well, you just gotta like what you do. I like what I do. I love what I do. I love the sport. I love most of the people in it. It's yeah. But it's when that day comes, I'm sure somebody will jump in and do just fine.
Dana, history of
Yeah, that's over already. That was a quick one. That was an in and out. Actually, that's not dead yet. We're still we aired on Discovery, and we pulled less than stellar numbers on that show, like 349,000 viewers or something tuned in for it, which is pretty much a disaster for Discovery. And but it's still alive. It's going to might end up somewhere else.
Why did you do that? What got you involved?
Well, a friend of mine that used to be my partner back in the day, Peter Welsh, had these competitions going on back in Boston. So Peligi and I checked it out. We liked it. We liked the stories. We liked the characters that were involved. And we thought that we would take a different approach toward a boxing reality show. We thought we would go after personalities and and telling stories. And we really believed. I was really pumped for it to be on Discovery because I felt like we'd reach more people, and that a lot of people would be into the storytelling. I was wrong.
Pete Welsh, coach.
Huh?
Boston, he's a coach.
Hey, historically in combat sports, it seems like a blowout fight doesn't necessarily mean that people won't buy it. It's like a 7-1 favorite. If it's Floyd Mayweather, they'll still buy it.
Right.
But with Ronda specifically, if she keeps beating girls by armbar, do you think you'll ever run into a situation where potential buyers are out there saying, I don't know if I want to pay money when I'm pretty certain that this girl is going to submit this other girl that I don't know in the first round?
Who knows? I mean, that's like going back to the Tyson era when people were like, oh, Tyson, this is going to be a first-round knockout. Guess what? I still sat home and watched it. Exactly. You're going to have people who are fight fans, people who are fringe. The fringe people jump in for when the big ones, like 169. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody knows in the fringe. But the hardcore fight fans are going to want to watch. Going to want to watch fights, man.
You mentioned the fans' reaction to the second Miesha Tate Ronda Rousey fight. Being in the arena that night, I was really struck by not only the reaction to Rousey, but the reaction to Tate even in defeat.
Yeah.
Do you see Ronda not only as a star, but also at this point a potential star maker?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Beating Ronda Rousey means something. You beat Ronda Rousey. It's pretty big for you.
Or to even be competitive.
That was the thing. I mean, the big talk about that was Miesha Tate made it to the third round. You know what I mean?
Do we also have any clarification, or did you get satisfactory clarification on the Juliana Pena situation? Is that still as you thought it was initially?
Yeah.
That you heard it from her, and that's.
I heard it from her 3 minutes after it happened.
Yeah.
So I would go with the story that I heard as soon as it happened. That whole situation is disgusting.
I was just wondering if you had an update on the ticket sales for this fight card. A lot of people.
I just said it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Said she's gonna do a $2 million gate. She did a $1.3 million gate her last fight that she headlined. Not many.
How did you move the Chael Ronda fight to Brazil?
We didn't move the fight. And I addressed this before, but I didn't know that we had that up on our website. We hadn't made a decision on where it was going to go. Was it going to go here? Was it going to go in Brazil? Plus, the coaches always fight on Globo down there in Brazil.
So that was the key reason. Was just contractual.
I didn't know. I was either going to do the Vanderlei Chael fight here, or put Dos Santos Alistar Overeem down there, or Dos Santos Overeem here as a co-main. I was still working on it.
Do you have any update on
What's that? Yep, it's going good. Yeah, we're still working on it. We haven't started shooting yet, but it's going great. All the preliminary work is looking good.
Do you have any update on the Brad Pickett fight for London, if he has a new opponent after you?
I don't know. We might. I don't know off the top of my head.
You got one today.
Yeah, we got one today.
Oh, thanks.
Real serious. Real serious.
Huh? How's it going? It's going good. No, we're still shooting.
This week or next week, Nevada State Athletic Commission's meeting. On the agenda is to clarify their stance on testosterone replacement exemptions. You know, right now, hey, Belfort can come in, he can apply for one. Nothing in the rules that say he can't. For you personally, what would you like to see, number one, the commission come out and say about exemptions in Nevada? I mean, they're getting together. What would you like to see them come out?
I've been saying it forever. I think it should go away. It should go away. It will make everything easy, make everything fair. Nobody will have to, well, this guy gets to, it'll be gone. Then we don't have to talk about it, worry about it, hear about it, or think about it.
Personally, are you okay with Belfort not breaking the rules? He can apply for one.
Of course. Absolutely. It's absolutely legal. He can apply for it. And yeah.
But do you personally, is that a problem for a guy who has already failed a drug test in Nevada before?
That's up to them. Like I said before, a lot of guys are on TRT. Guys are getting exemptions and using it. I think the Vitor thing is overplayed, and he's yes, I know he tested, but the guy's had these exemptions. He's been able to use it. He's going to apply for it, and if they say no, then he's going to have to fight without using it. See, it's as simple as that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Lorenzo talked to Kevin about it the other day, and I think Lorenzo summed it up perfectly. I like Nate Quarry. Let me tell you what. You're never going to hear me say anything negative about any of the guys from season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter. I fucking love all those guys. I respect them. I've always had a great relationship with Nate Quarry. Lorenzo said it the best. It's unfortunate that Nate, fought at a time when, we were still $44 million in the hole. It's not like the sport has evolved so much since then, and there's been a lot of negative things the last couple of weeks, but we've done a lot of positive things over the last 13 years. Even when if you look at what the Fertitas brothers did and the money that they put out when we were in the hole, and now it's easy to look back and go, oh, they invested $44 million, and we hear this thing's worth a few billion. Yeah, easy to say that now, but back then, this thing was. I mean, you guys all saw the movie, the 20-year anniversary thing. It was so close to being shut down and going away, and there was a time when I was like, we're never, fucking ever getting that $44 million back. It's never going to happen. There was a time when I actually believed that. Yeah. No. Here's the thing that's funny about that is it's one or the other. We're a monopoly. Guys can't make more money. Guys can't do this. Now the guy's out there, it's free trade. He's out there testing the waters, seeing what he's worth. And now it's like some big fucking issue. He's the number one thing. You're not going to sign. He's out there testing the fucking waters, man. This is how this shit works. Is it a bad thing? I thought this is what everybody wanted. There's no money. UFC has all the money, and these guys can't do this. This guy's out there testing. And now this is a big fucking negative issue? I don't get it.
What do you feel like, would you support the Ali Act being amended to include MMA and having to have disclosures with the fighters so they know where their revenues come from?
What do you mean disclosure?
Well,
as far as what?
On boxing, when a fighter
These guys have audit rights to come in and they can audit their
I'm
fight.
not talking about pay-per-view, but I'm talking about
But those are the guys you're talking about. The guys that you're talking about that make the big money are the guys that are the draw. The guys that the rest of in boxing they don't have this fucking problem because the guys that are on the lower end of the card, the guys who make all the money are the top guys. This money's spread out throughout everybody.
Right, but I guess whoever it is, any boxer, if I feel like I...
You guys, you can't apply it. It's two completely different sports, two totally different things. This is a league, and the money is spread out between all the guys. Yes, the guy who is the star, the headliner of that card, them in the co-main event, however it goes, or sometimes three. Sometimes we have three guys when we have fights like that. Those guys are getting the bulk of the money. And the guys that have those have audit rights to come in and go through their numbers. They can come right in and audit. And the rest of the guys...
How common is that?
What?
That they audit?
Nobody's ever audited. As far as I know, nobody's ever audited, you know? But they have the rights in their contract. Anybody can come in and audit. Everything we do is above... Remember this. The Fertitta brothers have the most privileged license in the state of Nevada. They have a gaming license, okay? It is fucking a nightmare to get a gaming license. And you have to, when I say you have to be, you know, you have to do everything above board when you hold a gaming license. No money is being held from fighters. No, anybody can come in that has audit rights and audit the thing. It's a completely different, it's different than boxing.
Tiny little smidge of chatter on Twitter between Sara and Matt Hughes. One of them said, hey, if Dan would put that fight together, we'd do that fight again. Did you ever put that fight together?
No. Listen, I get it. They don't like it. It's not even a sideshow. It's not a sideshow. Both great competitors, great champions. Matt Hughes is the guy who helped us, who helped us build this thing, as did Sara. Sara was always a great guy to us. Just doesn't need to happen.
At least you wouldn't have to do it at welterweight. You'd probably do it up.
Yeah. What are they going to fight? It's super heavyweight. I think Sarah's out of his weight class now.
Can you say how long you have to match?
I don't know. I'm not involved in that at all. I made that very clear a couple weeks ago. I'm not involved.
What was your reaction to Lawrence's comment that we're going to find everybody for going after everybody?
Guys are trying to fucking get out of that place. They got these contracts that you can't get out of. Look what they did to Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez has fought once in like 2 years. You know what I mean? Was promised all kinds of things that he never had. The difference is, everybody's throwing a fit about this. We don't sue our fighters. We don't fucking, if a guy wants to try to do something and move on and do something with his career or test the waters, we don't sue him. We don't jump in and start suing our fighters. People are trying to jump that ship, not jump onto that ship. That dude's out of his fucking mind. Huh?
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Just clarifying.
No. Gilbert's out there testing the market. Good for him. I don't have any hard feelings toward Gilbert Melendez. Not a big fan of, the guys I was dealing with. But this happens sometimes. So you know what happens? I don't deal with it.
Dana, if you, like you said, you can't really blame Gilbert for doing what he's doing. He's going out, he's trying to make money on his career. Would it change, I guess, your perception of him? Like, let's say he goes and he wins, 6 fights, loses 2. He'd be obviously older, but you'd still look at him as like a fairly decent talent. Would it change your opinion on him at all of trying to bring him back at some point?
If he fucking signs a deal with those guys, he ain't going anywhere. Nobody can get out of those fucking deals they have. And Viacom will sue you till you fucking bleed. Sue you till you bleed. Yeah, that's a whole nother ball game over there. Everybody wants to talk about the UFC like we're bullies and whatever. They're the fucking bullies. And they got these contracts that you cannot get out of. Look at Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
Look at Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, but man, fucking bad. Bad.
I agree, but you've signed some of their former fighters, though. Guys that they didn't really put up as much of a fight to keep, of course, like Hector.
Yeah.
But I guess my question would be...
I don't think they didn't put up much of a fight. They didn't fucking
much.
see it coming. They didn't see it coming, and they weren't ready. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And now they just, because who doesn't want to jump that ship? You think Chandler really wants to be there? Chandler's sitting there going, I just signed that fucking deal. Oh my God, why did I sign that deal? Nobody wants to be there. They're in these contracts that are dirty, nasty contracts, that you can never get out of. And what are you going to do? You're going to go head-to-head legally with Viacom and sue them? Good luck with that one. See how that works out for you. You spend the rest of your career in court. Eddie Alvarez has fought one time in the last 2 years. Yeah.
What's the difference between Ronda doing movies and Rampage doing it? Because she's keeping you guys in the loop all the way
Yeah,
along.
that's how you do it. Rampage jumped out to do the movie instead of fighting the Ultimate Fighter. You know, that was completely different.
And you've said a million times, like Rampage gave away a whole bunch of money that you would have made here, and they basically nothing to be gained to movie. Do you get any sense of that with Ronda?
Ronda's making a lot of money. That's the other thing too. I've never seen, I've seen a lot of these guys. There's no doubt the Rampage thing to do the A-Team. Number one, it was a huge opportunity. That was a big movie, like a big budget movie, and I thought it was a great movie, and I thought Rampage did a great job in that movie. But it didn't really pan out. He didn't, Ronda's getting paid. I've never seen somebody go straight from here and go into the movies and make the kind of money she's making. I didn't even think that was possible, but she is, so good for her.
We talked about what her role is going to be, or you're not allowed to disclose that?
Her role in what?
In the Entourage movie.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't talk about it. It's not my deal. But I'm excited for it. It's a cool movie and it's good stuff. Chuck? I don't know. I don't know.
You recently mentioned the uniform policy that you guys are working on. There's been a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of interest in it. Some people are wondering how it's going to affect the fighters. I don't know if you saw like Sara McMann came out recently and she had some things to say. She markets herself very well. So she said that she probably would be losing money if such a thing happened. Whereas maybe it might help some other fighters.
Felice Herrig is losing money.
Well, apparently she has some pretty good sponsors.
First of all, we have no uniform deal. We haven't announced a uniform deal. We have no uniform deal. We said something that we're looking into. There's no fucking uniform deal. We're working. Somebody asked me a question about it one day, and I said something about it, and everybody, if you fucking guys didn't have something to bitch about, listen, I'll say something today that it'll give you. You guys can bitch about that for another fucking 10 weeks till I sit down with you again. It's unbelievable. We announced no uniform deal. There is no deal. We have nothing, but people are bitching about it. I'm gonna lose fucking money. But then we got guys sitting there going, I refuse to wear any sponsors because I can't get any. Shut the fuck up, everybody. When we get a deal done and I come out and announce it and lay out the rules and tell you how it goes and things like that, if that day ever comes or if it ever happens, then we can talk, then we can bitch about and argue about things and talk about money lost, money made, money this. It's fucking ridiculous. There is no deal. There is no deal, and we're sitting here talking about something that doesn't even exist. And people are bitching about something that doesn't exist. It's like a fucking hair salon, man.
To be fair, though, I was the fight pass thing when I was
Okay.
guys are clearly losing sponsorship on fight pass and you shrug.
Yeah.
So it's like if they're losing money and they can't express it, they're fighting for less money than they were before because of fight pass.
But so what? So we shouldn't do Fight Pass? So should we never fucking try new things and open? It's ridiculous. It's stupid. So what do you want me to do? Since we have Fight Pass, people don't want to fucking sponsor them. They don't want to pay.
No, I think.
What should I? No, tell me what I should do.
Well, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Just have a conversation with the managers and with the fighters and find out what the issues are and try to find a way that the fighters can not be not only taken advantage of, but lose income. If you're making $5,000 today and then you fight a fight on Fight Pass and sponsorship money and you make zero, that's.
What if a fucking sponsor just doesn't want to sponsor a guy anymore and pulls out? What should I do?
What if they do, but they say they can't judge on Fight Pass? What impact it's going to have for their business?
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
That's
no, it's not my fucking problem.
But it's a problem.
No, it's not a problem. That's a problem for everybody. Getting sponsorship is a fucking problem. It's tough. It's hard to do. That question is ridiculous. Kevin, that's ridiculous. If a guy fights on Fight Pass, right? First of all, he's getting paid to fight. That's what he's getting paid for. That's what he does. He gets paid to fight. How sponsorship works out for a guy is not my problem. That is not my problem. He's a fighter. He's getting paid to fight. Period. End of story. Whatever extra money he makes outside the UFC with sponsors and all that shit, that's his fucking deal. Do you think that fucking Shaq or Kobe or anybody else is bitching at the NBA because if they got to go play a fucking game in another country, Fast Acton, Tenacton doesn't want to pay them while they're out there. Who gives a shit?
Well, there's an example. Robert Griffin III has a sponsorship with Reebok or Adidas, which is one of those two, and the NFL uniforms are Nike. So he would, in the warm-ups, wear his Adidas or Reebok, whatever the hell it is, outfit, and the NFL fined him $10,000, made him cover it up and put it up. He's losing money, so he's trying to make.
Right.
So it happens. The guys are fighting.
Yeah.
It's not like
but there are, there's never going to be a situation where we're not going to expand the business and go and do all these other things because it'll affect sponsorship.
No, I wasn't saying don't do it. I was just saying, kind of work collaboratively with them to try to find a solution. I guess all I was saying.
Yeah, like I'm gonna try to find a solution because people don't want to sponsor them if they're fighting on Fight Pass, and these fights that would never even exist and are actually being funded by Fight Pass. That makes no sense.
Dana, a question about the uniform that does not exist, but
Right.
I think some people would be curious that if you do sign a deal, would you consider, like raising the bottom line of what fighters are paid, entry-level fighters, because they can't make sponsorships?
Obviously,
as much sponsorship money?
if a deal like this ever did exist, we would figure it out to where it would help.
Everybody.
Exactly.
Being that this is the first fight card in Nevada without Keith Kaiser at the helm of the NSAC, what have you found the response to be like from the commission? Has it been better or worse?
No, it's all the same. I mean, everything. I haven't talked to anybody from the commission leading up to this fight.
Have you heard that Mark Futrell is one of the favorites to get the job?
No, I did not hear that. Interesting.
Greg Serb and Mark Futrell.
I
Probably,
like Greg Serb too.
probably something you talked about before now, within the last week, but there have been a lot of decisions on the last two cards. It's been a record number between 169 and then the fight night in Brazil. Did you have any opinion on why that is? Was it just coincidence? A lot of people are offering theories as to why there's been so many fights go the distance.
No, I don't give a shit what their theories are. That's crazy. I mean, if you didn't like the Machida fight, you're not a fight fan. Mm-hmm. I love the Machida fight, and I like the Jacare fight too. I think Carmont looked tough in that fight. You remember what I told you guys back in the thing? Carmont won't be able to, lay on him in that fight, and it's going to be scrambles and some stand up and
those two fights were great. I think most people were, if people were complaining, these might be the dumb internet people that you refer to, but they said that the prelims mostly is because there's a declining level of talent because they're spread thin that there's not as many finishes. Was it because of the bonuses that you guys changed?
Yeah. Cool.
Every fight, there's a fight finish for every fight. Like you finish this fight, 10,000 to you, whatever, based on your pay scale or whatever. Would you ever do like a fight finish?
Guys, there's going to be fights. There's going to be fucking unbelievable knockdown, drag 'em out fights, and there's going to be fights that go to decisions. Period. That's the way the fucking fight game works.
Eric Silva fight, that heel kick that he did with
Yeah.
I've been calling people trying to find, is that legal?
It's got to be illegal. He was down. We were talking about that because I didn't remember after seeing it because I was like, holy shit, when he was doing it, I was, it was impressive. But we were talking about it. I was like, was he down? Because he was going for a single, and I can't remember if he had a knee down when he was getting hit with those. He must have though, right? He was.
Yeah.
Was he still standing?
No.
The first one he had a knee down. Yeah. Probably was, but it probably freaked the ref out too. Because it freaked me out when I saw it. So yeah, it probably was illegal. If he kicked him in the face when a knee was down, it was an illegal kick. Impressive though. You done with me?
She's asking me.
Is Lyoto the next contender? Yeah. I mean, we got the Vitor Weidman fight has to happen, and depending on what Machida wants to do, does he want to wait? We'll see what happens. That would be awesome too. I mean, we have a lot of options. I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out.
Did you find out what happened to Jacare? Hurt his shoulder or something?
I don't know. Jacare? Yeah. I'm not sure. We good? Thank you.